And it's great to be here with House Speaker Brandon Lear, legislators and DEQ Director Sonia Nowakowski to sign into law bills reforming the Montana Environmental Policy Act. This is a big deal. A lot of work has gone into this. We have a lot of things to celebrate from this recent legislative session, but these bills in particular here were here to highlight. For 40 years, MEPA has guided DEQ and the environmental review process. At its simplest, MEPA is a process that ensures we think about the potential environmental impacts of our decisions. Last year, the Montana Supreme Court issued a series of rulings that led us to develop solutions to reduce potential litigation and provide certainty to Montana businesses, large and small, that are trying to make a living here in our state. Left unchecked, the rulings would have impacted our energy sector at a time when Americans have seen the cost of electricity soar nearly 30% over the last 4 years. Today, I'll sign 5 bills. House Bill 270, sponsored by Representative Katie Zolnikoff, clarifies that courts may not vacate MEPA permits without properly considering the impacts to Montana's economy and private businesses. House Bill 285, sponsored by Speaker Lear, reaffirms the purpose of environmental reviews is procedural in nature and is to share information with policymakers and the public. House Bill 291, sponsored by Representative Greg Obelander, makes it clear that the state of Montana cannot adopt air quality standards that are more strict than the federal government. House Bill 466, sponsored by Representative John Fitzpatrick, outlines that projects that are exempt from the National Environmental Policy Act are also exempt from MEPA, reducing burdensome red tape and potentially duplicative processes. And lastly, Senate Bill 221, sponsored by Senator Wiley Galt, clearly states that emissions are required to be included in these assessments. I'd like to thank the legislature for their work on this entire package of reform bills. I'd also like to thank Director Nowakowski and DEQ for their work with the diverse stakeholder groups involved in building this consensus, and for their work in working with the legislature to come up with these specific proposals. Today stands as an example of what we can do when we work together. With that, I'll turn it over to Speaker Lear for a few comments. Speaker Lear.
Thank you, Governor, and legislators and directors standing behind me. It was truly a great session when it come to MEPA reform. With the signing of this MEPA reform package, we're making it clear that Montana's environmental policy is about informed decision-making, not weaponizing and litigation. In the Held v. Montana court case, they tried to twist MEPA into something it was never meant to be, a tool to deny permits and block development. House Bill 285 sets the record straight. MEPA is procedural. It's a way to gather facts, weigh impacts, and then make informed decisions, not dictate them. This bill reaffirms the legislature's intent. MEPA provides a balanced look at environmental, social, and economic factors. It doesn't give agencies new regulatory power, and it certainly doesn't let them deny projects based on environmental review alone. We've also made sure that legal challenges to MEPA follow clear rules tied to the Constitution, grounded in law, and brought in the communities they affect. House Bill 285 protects private property rights, supports responsible development, and restores a balance between public process and practical governance. I'm proud to have sponsored this legislation and grateful to my colleagues and the Governor for standing behind it. Thank you.
Okay. These bills come forward from our shared commitment to reducing red tape, expediting permitting, and making Montana the best place to live and to conduct business. With that, I'll sign the bills. And if you want to join me, whoever's bill this is 270. That's a Zolnikoff. The second bill, House Bill 285. Speaker Lear.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next bill, House Bill 291. Thank you for your work on this.
Thank you, Governor. Glad to do it.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. House Bill 466. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
This is 2 days in a row. We're doing you. You're busy.
And this is about the only bill I have that doesn't spend money. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And last but not least, Senate Bill 221. I think Senator Galt has gone back to the cows. Okay, let's hold one of these up here. Why don't you guys come right around back here and I'll hold one of these up. Great.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks. I think we have time for a couple of questions, if there are some related to these BEPA bills. Yes.
Blair Miller with League Newspapers. I know that you guys seem to have covered all the bases here. There's a few Democrats, opponents saying, oh, well, we're going to end up back in court with some of this stuff. Just wanted to know what you guys have to say about that.
Yeah, I would just say I think these are common sense reforms that clarify. We were left with uncertainty by the Supreme Court's decision. We've tightened up those loopholes, and this will make it easier to issue permits while protecting the environment at the same time without adding undue red tape. Yes?
Yeah, Zeke Lloyd, Montana Free Press. What's left undone? What are things that you would still like to see happen in the future?
Director, do you want to speak to that?
Thank you for the question. Truly, from DEQ's perspective, a little bit of the work is just to begin. Under Senate Bill 221, for example, our next steps will be to develop that guidance document that will outline exactly how we will do greenhouse gas assessments for fossil fuel activities, as well as what parameters we'll look at for non-fossil fuel activities. In addition, based on the categorical exclusions bill and related to some funding in House Bill 2, we'll continue to look at programmatic opportunities for programmatic EAs and how that can transfer over into categorical exclusions. But these will be very open and transparent processes, and we look forward to engaging with the public and getting everyone's input as we move forward. So the work is just beginning. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Yes.
Hi, Governor. Shirley Rager, Montana Public Radio, and I apologize, I can't help myself. Should we expect a new line item vetoes in the budget? How are you feeling about where it's at right now?
Stay tuned. Anything else?
I'll oxygen let you get yeah, I guess in terms of what the Supreme Court handed down, what the working group did last year, how are you guys feeling about what this package of bills does in response to what the working group put together, especially after the Hill decision came down?
Do you want to speak to that, Director?
Again, thanks for the question. I think that while all of the working group didn't come together with a consensus recommendations on some of these, many of these are, as the governor has said, these are common sense next steps, and they are just next steps. And now we will engage in the broader conversations. We intend to re-engage with the MEPA work group and let them know what our next steps will be, outline what the guidance document development process will look like, how we'll be approaching that, and how they can be a part of that discussion. So I think this is a very big first step for us in moving these forward, but more conversations to come, and we're looking forward to working with stakeholders.
Okay. Great. Thanks for coming out. And Speaker, thank you.
Absolutely, thank you.
Representative? Yep. John, thank you so much. And Director, thanks for